Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ho with a quick synopsis of the 2022 science fiction movie, Spiderhead. Spoiler ahead. Enjoy and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more movie recaps. The story is set in a future where convicted criminals are given the opportunity to reduce their sentences by volunteering for scientific experiments. Spiderhead is a state-of-the-art penitentiary experimenting with the effects of research chemicals. The test subjects, technically prisoners of the state, are volunteers for the project aiming to reduce their sentence time. The program is overseen by the sympathetic and hospitable Steve Abnesti, along with his assistant Mark. The prisoners have their own rooms, do chores, and are free to roam without guard supervision. The subjects go through daily test runs of various drugs, all of which alter their emotions and their perceptions of their surroundings. Inmate Jeff, still reeling from having killed his friend whilst drunk driving, is given N40, a love drug, which distorts his senses and drives him to have sex with two of his fellow inmates. Steve asks him to choose which one of them to give Darkenflox, a drug that induces intense fear and psychological pain. He declines to choose, claiming he feels nothing in particular for either one of them after the effects of the love drug had worn off. Mark helps Steve administer some N40 to himself. It is now known that Mark oftentimes abuses the drug himself. The next day, Steve brings Jeff into the observation room and tells him that the higher-ups have decided that the younger of the two women, Heather, must be injected with a dose, though it will only last 5 minutes. Jeff reluctantly agrees, and to his horror, Heather commits suicide while on the Darkenflox after she damages her MobiPack, the device that administers the drugs. This causes Mark to doubt their work in the facility. As Steve rushes out of the projection room, he drops his keys. Jeff unlocks Steve's desk compartment, discovering that there are no higher-ups. The prison is run by Abnesti Pharmaceuticals, Steve's company. The drugs were named from a bingo card. That evening, Steve and Jeff get together at Steve's quarter. The both of them get higher on a laughing drug, as Steve also has a MobiPack installed. Steve tells Jeff that his father abandoned him as a child. The next day, Jeff confesses to Lizzie, an inmate he is close with, that he not only killed his friend in the car accident, but his girlfriend as well. Lizzie hugs him and they kiss, as both of them discovered they have feelings for each other. Steve notices Jeff's feelings for Lizzie. Mark becomes doubtful of Steve's motives, and he breaks down when Jeff confronts him. When Steve asks Jeff to administer Darkenflox to Lizzie, Jeff takes control of Steve's MobiPack, reveals that Mark has spiked his MobiPack with Darkenflox, and forces him to admit the true goal of the program, which is to test a compliance drug called B6. The other drugs are merely side projects being used to put B6 to the ultimate test. Whether or not they would harm their love when commanded to. The entire time inmates had been consenting to the various tests, they had really been under the influence of the obedience drug. In addition, Steve informs Jeff that he had in fact finished his sentence 7 months previously, while Lizzie's appeal for release had passed the previous week. Jeff forces Steve to open the door of the main entrance to free Lizzie, and then tries to order him to hand over the pocket knife. Steve resists the order, as complying would be killing the project, which is the only thing he has ever loved, and instead takes his phone and enables all 4 vials of Darkenflox in Lizzie's MobiPack, causing her to behave hysterically and attempt suicide. The two fight for control and Jeff is able to disarm Steve, damaging his MobiPack in the process. Jeff rushes to save Lizzie, successfully removes the vials of Darkenflox, and tells her he loves her, but Steve gets up and orders the other inmates to apprehend Jeff and Lizzie. They are able to escape from Spiderhead after overpowering some of the other inmates and locking the main door behind them. Mark and the police are now approaching the island as Steve escapes on his float plane. But he joyously crashes into a mountain, as he is now high off of his damaged MobiPack. Meanwhile, Jeff and Lizzie take the remaining motorboat and escape. In a voiceover, Jeff comments that no drug can bestow self-forgiveness, instead it must be worked on and chosen. The movie ends with them riding into the sunset.